Hello everyone, I'm Mina Man in This Week for Stuart Muir. Welcome to Higher Ground, the only show dedicated to finding common ground in the contentious debate over BC's natural resources. Last week we introduced you to our new exclusive research report, Community Impacts of BC's Resource Sector. We showed you just how important BC's natural resources are to the economic health and vitality of Metro Vancouver. Our survey of just 7 top resource companies doing business with suppliers in 8 Metro Vancouver cities revealed an impressive amount of economic activity. In 2013, the 7 resource firms surveyed engaged in a total of 1,665 different suppliers to provide a broad array of services, which brought in a total of $1.3 billion in revenue to local companies. Making the connection between cities and the resource sector is critical, as often many urbanites find it difficult to appreciate the impact, as resource-based economic activities usually fly under the radar. That is, unless you happen to live in one of the many resource-based communities in more rural and remote regions of BC. This week, we're going on a special trip up to one of the hotspots of resource development in BC, the Kitimat Terrace region. This little place on the map is abuzz with all kinds of resource activities due to its special location on the northwest coast. Whether it's aluminum smelting, petroleum exports, or ambitious economic development plans by First Nations, it seems like Kitimat is where the story of BC resources is unfolding.
I'm ready. I'm always rolling like that.
We sent our intrepid host, Stuart Muir, off on a whirlwind tour, joining over 24 community, government, and business representatives. Lucky what would have been an 18-hour drive was only a short 1 hour and 45-minute flight there and back. While in flight, besides taking in some amazing views, wow, look at that, we grabbed the chance to hear from Richard Prokopanko, Director of Government Relations for Rio Tinto Alcan, which is the biggest employer in the region and one of the highlights of the tour.
No, I think it's a great opportunity to do things like this because there's such a diversity of people here, and to go up and back in one day, I mean, this is generally a 2 or 3 day undertaking for anybody else, so this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot, but it's good to get up, like you say, on a day.
And it's an exciting time now. We've got 3,400 people working in the plant. There's 70% finished, and it's the burn rate alone. The burn rate is $3.1 million a day. So by the time we arrive there, they'll be through $1.1 million in a day. So you want to make sure that you know what you're doing in the morning, because you don't have much time to make a mistake.
What Richard is talking about is a $3.3 billion modernization of the Rio Tinto Alcan aluminum smelter in Kitimat. You might be saying to yourself, what's that? Well, back in late 1940s, a provincial government invited companies to help develop hydroelectric power in BC's central interior. Thus began what became the largest engineering and construction project ever undertaken by a private enterprise in Canada at the time.
In 1954, we began operations in Kitimat with a substantial investment, a long-term commitment, and a simple dream. A dream that was built on the dedication and skill of 35,000 determined workers.
And those workers did something truly outstanding. They constructed a dam, blasted a 16-kilometer power tunnel through solid rock, created a reservoir, built a power generation facility inside a mountain, erected a massive power transmission line, and built the aluminum smelter facility, all in just 5 years. The project was so large and comprehensive, most agree that in today's scale, it is a project that likely would not be taken on. Today, Rio Tinto is about half a year away from completing its multi-billion-dollar modernization of the smelter facility, which will increase production from around 275,000 tons to a whopping 420,000 tons of very clean and very efficient aluminum. You might be surprised to learn that Rio Tinto Alcan does not mine the minerals needed to make aluminum here in BC. The raw materials are brought in by ship from overseas.
Kitimat's very odd from a Canadian resource-based industry, because actually most of what we do is just combine the electricity and people. Everything else comes in, imported in, and then turned back out and goes back to the Asia-Pacific Rim.
The Rio Tinto Alcan modernization project has been a real boon for all British Columbians. Not only is the project employing over 3,300 workers during peak construction, the company has already spent to date $827 million in BC across all regions of the province, including in Metro Vancouver. In fact, Rio Tinto is a great example of a resource company making a big impact in urban areas. Let's jump back to the tour. Oh, wait, our cameraman's glasses fell off, so don't mind the focus.
We've taken a priority to try to hire British Columbians to do this job, and also not only to work on it, but also provide services. So we have a lot of engineering companies, mechanical companies who are from the Lower Mainland who quite know a lot about our business already, because they actually have business up there. I would think that because you don't see any major manufacturing in the Vancouver proper and Victoria, I think there's a lot of people who don't understand what an operation of 1,700 people working day in and day out. We have 24 hours a day there. We contribute 10% to the manufacturing GDP of the province in one plant.
And that's it for Higher Ground this week. Make sure to visit our website, resourceworks.com, sign up for our newsletter, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For ResourceWorks, I'm Ina Man. Thanks for watching.